Welcome back to Learn As You Explore, your go-to place for mBot2 tutorials. If you're a passionate teacher, check out the educator packs I've put together, linked in the description. You also have a free lesson pack to check out before you make a purchase. Let's start with Pick and Place Part 4. We'll first save this as a new project. So go to File, Save As, and I'm going to call it Pick and Place Part 6. In the main function, let's replace the forever loop with the repeat until loop. So move the if block out, delete the forever loop, Control, get the repeat until loop, and move the if part back into the repeat until loop. The condition that we want to set for the repeat until loop is going to be Servo S3 equals 140. This means that we will repeat this loop until the gripper servo has picked up the ball. So go to the mBot2 extension port and use the servo current angle block, and we want to check if this is equal to 90 degrees. So go to operators, grab an equals block. This will be the first operand, and we want to check for 90 degrees. Also, my gripper servo is connected to the S3 port on the mBot shield, so I'll change that to S3 here. Move this into the condition. Since we want to end this loop once the gripper has picked up the ball, we can get rid of the part that plays the tone, turns right 180 degrees, and opens the gripper. This is because once we close the gripper and we have picked up the ball, we want to navigate to the landing area before dropping the ball by opening the gripper. So let's move out these blocks, let's move the brake back in and delete these 3 blocks. Once we're outside this loop, we have already picked up the ball. The next thing to do is to explore in order to track the landing area, which is our second color block. Let's make some space here for the remainder of our program. We'll create 2 variables, one called landing X and the other called landing Y. Let's grab a set block. We will set landing Y to the smart camera Y coordinate of color block 2. To get the smart camera blocks, scroll down, go to the color block detect and use the smart camera detected coordinate of color block and select color block 2. Make sure that you've also changed the X coordinate to Y coordinate here. Now we'll add another repeat until block from the control category. But this time we'll repeat until the gripper servo has opened. I just realized that I had made a mistake here. So here the first repeat until block should be repeated until the gripper servo has closed, which means that the angle here should be 140 degrees. For the second repeat until block, we want to repeat until the servo has opened. So we can duplicate this block, insert it here, and change the angle to 90 degrees. We will follow the same format as in our previous repeat until loop. This is because the procedure here is similar to the logic we had for tracking the ball, only this time we want to track the landing area, and once we've reached it, we will drop the ball instead of picking it up. So we can duplicate this whole if-else block and insert it into our new repeat until block. Now we'll make changes to adapt this portion to tracking the landing area instead of the ball. So replace ball Y coordinate with the landing Y coordinate from variables, drag that over. Now this condition detects if we've reached the target or the landing area. For the landing area, we don't need to be as precise as we did with the ball, so we can give it a higher tolerance of 10 pixels instead of 3. If we've reached the landing area, then we enter this if block. Here we want to play the tone, open the gripper, and stop the wheels. We'll first remove the blocks that are inside the if block. Use the play until done block from the audio category and select the tone to be level up. This is the tone that we want. Next, we'll set the servo to 90 degrees. We can duplicate the block from here. Next, we will wait for half a second which we can duplicate from here and insert it right below the set servo block. After the wait, we want to stop the encoder motors. To do that, go to the mBot2 chassis category and use the stop encoder motor block. Finally, we'll break out of the loop because at this point, we are done with the part of the program after we've navigated to the landing area. However, we still need to define the part where we help the robot identify and navigate to the landing area, which is within this else block. When we are within the else block, it means that the landing area is not close enough to the robot. This means that we need to track the landing area here instead of tracking the ball. First off, we don't need to keep the gripper open, so we can remove this part of the if block here. So get rid of that. Now, because we're going to be reusing the trackball function for tracking the landing area as well, let's first rename the function as just track. To rename, right click and go to edit, and here you can change the name of your function. We'll call it just track because this is common. We're going to be tracking both the landing area as well as the ball. We'll also rename the input variables ball x and ball y to track x and track y. Say track x, and here we'll say track y. And click on OK when you're done. Since we want to track the landing area here, instead of setting ball x, we'll set the landing x, and instead of setting ball y, we'll set landing y. The other change we have to make is that make sure that we're selecting color block 2 here, because when we say color block 1, we're telling the smart camera to detect the ball, and when we say color block 2, we're telling it to detect the landing area, which is what we want in this part of the program. And remember that these color block numbers are coming from what we set in Pixelmon as our signature numbers. In the last video, we set color block 2 to landing area, and in a video before that, we had set the ball to color block 1 or signature 1 as it's called in Pixelmon. We can now make the call to our track function, but we will need to replace ball x and ball y with landing x and landing y. So let's do that now. Go to variables, get landing x, and then also get landing y. Alright guys, let's take a break here. We'll continue the remainder of the program in the next video. Let's do a quick recap now. We started off with our previous pick and place part 4 project. We then refactored the ball tracking and gripper close part, which is the pick operation. Then we added a loop within which we can add the logic for landing area tracking as well as the gripper open part, which is the place operation. Finally, we added support to actually perform landing area tracking, followed by playing the audio tone and then opening the gripper. I hope you've had fun so far, but let's continue in our next video and we can see the program in action then. Here are some of my other videos that you may find helpful. Happy programming, and I'll see you in the next one.